This is your Daily 5 for Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. If you remember, Lando and I, when we talked about the Iron Angels film, we both really raved about one of the actors in that movie, Moon Lee. And when I did my show with Len Kabaczynski about the Iron Angels film, he also was a big fan of Moon Lee. We kind of all discovered this woman together and her wonderful talents. And not only did I like her in that movie, but I also, if you remember, was quite smitten with the villain from that film, an actor named Yukari Oshima, who was just magnificent. And when I found out, and I think we mentioned this at some point in the past, that there was a movie where both of them were in it together, I knew it was only a matter of time before we watched it. And we finally watched it this week. I'm talking about 1991's Dreaming the Reality, which is a movie that, if for no other reason, I would recommend it because the villain from Iron Angels is all over. I was really worried. I was worried that she was just going to be kind of here and there, kind of a Cynthia Rothrock thing that happens a lot where she pops in at the beginning and the end of the movie, but then she's missing from the middle. But thankfully, she's all over this. So we really get three actors that we've seen very recently. Sibel Hu from Inspector Wears Skirts, the lead military commander from that, who led the female commando squad, playing the opposite character in this. I mean, to the point where Lando and I couldn't believe what we were seeing at first because she's so different from the other movie that we just saw her in. And then, of course, Moon Lee, and then the villain's name is Yukari Oshima. I'm probably mispronouncing, if not all those names, at least two of them. But they are the main leads of this film, and they are really the reason to watch it because they're all great in different ways. In particular, the one thing, and you may take this as a criticism, I wouldn't say this, but it is something different, certainly than the Iron Angels films, at least for the most part, is Moon Lee's work in this is often more or as much dramatic as it is action. I don't say that as a criticism, but if you're coming in here and expecting to see her fighting all the way through, you're not going to see as much of that. You definitely see more of Yukari Oshima's work, which is great. That's what I was coming into it for. But Moon Lee is doing a lot more dramatic acting. I don't think that's bad because here's another thing. We've talked before on the show, and I've mentioned this in reviews, that some Hong Kong action films, when they delve into drama, they can go way over the top, to the extent that I think some people are put off by it. They just find it to be too absurd, and it kind of just deflates any of the real effect of the drama for them. This movie does not do that. This movie's drama scenes are far more grounded. I'm not going to say that they are realistic, but if you compare it to something like Yes, Madam and the dramatic moments in that, which are, again, Charlie Chaplin-esque, almost comedy bits, this is far more level and attuned to a level of reality of some kind. So if that puts you off from other movies, you might not mind this one at all when it gets into the dramatic stuff. It is a classic Hong Kong girls with guns movie, so there's great stunt choreography, fight choreography, often where you can actually see the actors' faces and they're not being digitally replaced, car chases, gunfights, explosions, and I will say, a relatively kind of classic Hong Kong action movie ending. And I won't say any more than that, but if you're familiar with Hong Kong action films, they can end differently sometimes than American films tend to, so just be aware. I'm not going to say it goes all the way into that territory, but it's definitely more that side than an American film type of ending, and I'll just keep it at that. But honestly, it was a blast. It was just a great time. Actors who we'd seen in other roles before, still doing great work. The story itself, nothing groundbreaking. You will, if you've watched action movies in the last 30 plus years, you're going to be able to predict 90% of where this movie goes. You'll probably be name checking in your head movies where you've seen these elements before. I mean, Lando and I in the commentary, I think he mentioned The Killer, A Better Tomorrow 2, The Professional, Long Kiss Goodnight, La Femme Nikita. You're going to see little elements of these all sprinkled throughout the movie. Again, that's not a negative. I just don't want anybody to come in here thinking they're going to get a really novel take on the action genre. No, you're going to get story elements that you've seen before, but done very well with a level of competence by the actual actors that doesn't exist as much as it used to. And that, along with, of course, Yukari Oshima, who is awesome, that is why I would recommend it to anybody, especially if you're a fan of Hong Kong action films, but even regular action films would probably have action film fans. Even if you're not into this stuff a lot, probably would have a good time with it. So again, I would say it's definitely worth watching, whether you're a Hong Kong action film fan or not. 1991's Dreaming the Reality. If you get the chance and you're in the mood, watch it. I think you're going to have a good time. Later.